Thank you, Mr. President. On the bill.
Senator Nozzolio on the bill.
Mr. President, my colleagues, there are many things, as pointed out tonight, that we disagree over. Many issues that one side of the aisle doesn't see the same way as the other side of the aisle. But there's one thing that's undeniable, one thing that we all agree about, and that's the fact that we would not be here participating in this democratic process if it were not for the sacrifices of our nation's veterans. I stand and rise to congratulate Senator Greg Ball for the leadership he's displayed in establishing what, for New York State, what 42 other states have already established. But in New York, for a variety of reasons, we had not participated up to this moment in the establishment of a state-run veterans cemetery system. Now we will be joining those 42 other states. Now we will have the opportunity to work in partnership with the federal government to establish and honor those veterans who deserve such recognition. On the eastern shore of Seneca Lake, in the heart of the Finger Lakes region, we have established on a place of hallowed ground where over 750,000 sailors trained to participate in the battles of World War II. And since that, over 250,000 airmen trained in preparation for defending our nation. Over 1 million sailors and airmen at this base trained to protect American interests, to protect our nation, to fight against the despots who tried to destroy our democratic way of life. Mr. President, Sampson is a location now of a veterans cemetery, one that we established in conjunction with federal regulations. We've put in motion the opportunity because we could no longer wait for New York State to act, that local veterans in the Finger Lakes region and all across the state have supported the establishment of a veterans cemetery on this hallowed place where these sailors and airmen trained and made many sacrifices in all wars, beginning in World War II through the current conflicts in Afghanistan. Mr. President, when someone asks you or any member of this House where are heroes, they only need to go to those veteran cemeteries across our state. Those heroes who are buried there, who sacrifice much, in some cases their lives, to defend freedom, defend our freedom. Thank you, Senator Ball, for your leadership on this very important subject. And thank you, my colleagues, for supporting this legislation as we move forward to establish veteran cemeteries all across New York State and allow cemeteries like Sampson to participate in this very worthwhile program that over 42 states are now going to be participating in. Mr. President, thank you for the opportunity to discuss this important issue, and I certainly look to supporting this excellent legislation.
Thank you, Senator Nozzolio. Senator Ball.
For those members here who served with me in the Assembly, Tom, you were there, right? Some of you know I was a little bit of a pain over in the Assembly. Yeah, I would have, a little bit of a pain. And I still am a pain, but I have to thank my colleagues because instead of being a pain in public, in session in the Assembly, I'm just a pain in conference. And on the Veterans Cemetery, I know that I've been a pain. But to our leader, to Dean, to the Senators Nozzolio and Little and others that have fought for this for many years, and to each and every one, I thank you. We lose over 1,000 World War II veterans every single day. And we all have veterans in our district who I know who come to each and every one of you, and I know to me and say, Greg, I'm getting older, and I would like to be buried in a veteran cemetery. And now in New York State, we are so much closer to that cause. So thank you for putting up with me, and it's been an absolute pleasure. And Dean, thank you very much. God bless.
Senator Larkin.
A couple of issues that I'm deeply concerned about. I've had the privilege of working with Senator Ball on the cemeteries. We've gone to Washington, we've gone to New York, we've gone to cemeteries around. Some of you, it doesn't really hit you. It does me. Many of them, 2 years ago when I went to a reunion on the 1st Cav Division, there were 4 out of our battalion. When I go to the reunion in September, I have been told that I'm the only one left out of that battalion of 1,280 people. These people don't want to get buried in a cemetery 100 miles away. They want to get buried in a cemetery where they can go. John Bonasek and I have been very, very fortunate in putting a cemetery in Orange County. With a lot of help, we've put benches in there and reading time where they can just take time to think about the loved ones that are buried there. But the federal government is saying, here's some money. New York, get off and do it. What's said here in this bill, how we should do it, how it will come about, how will funds. Again, I ask you to think about your grandfather, your uncle, your nurses, your mother's sister who was a nurse and killed. Think about it. Bring it all the way up to today. 700 Americans are dying every day that were World War II combat veterans. Bring it closer to home. 192 American female officers have been killed in Iraq and Afghanistan. 591 severely injured. Case, how bad? How long? Just think about it. Yes, I carry my military service on my shoulder because I had the opportunity as a young lieutenant from South Troy, New York, to command an all-black company in Korea. It wasn't called African American, but they're dying, and that blood is the same on you as them. And I challenge you to support Senator Ball and the leader who's given us the blessing to go ahead with it. It's very important. It's something that you can't get away from. Take a look at your newspapers. Here in Albany, shows you someone with a flag and tells you about his service to his country or her service to the country. So a bill in front of us that encompasses a lot of things. As many people on the side of the aisle have said, there's nothing perfect. I remember the 2 years we were in the minority. And I remember the 12 years I was in the minority. Michael was with us. John was with us. We were in the assembly. We never even got to discuss like you folks do on this side today. So let's sit back and maybe instead of finding all the fault, think back and say, you know, maybe I'm a little at fault. I never went across and asked John Flanagan. I never went across and asked Senator Ball. Never asked Kenny Laval. Think about it. You're at fault too. Just to sit here at 1:55 in the morning, a.m., and say all of these things. Think about, go through your notes and say, how often did you walk across the aisle or go from the Capitol to the LOB or LOB to the Capitol and say, I don't understand, can you explain to me? Just look at the state insurance fund that's in there that Jim Seward's doing. Let's do a little more cooperate and graduate. And don't forget those who made this the best damn country in the world.